industry for just $25 a month. You can get unlimited talk, unlimited text, and 5 gigs of data on America's most dependable 5G network. Listen to this. The average family of 4 saves over $1,000 a year when they make the switch, like I did, to Pure Talk. That's real money right back in your pocket.
Hey, welcome in. Getting ready to kick off the Tuesday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show. Glad to have you along. Honored you'd share your time with me today. A lot going on, and we'll get you updated on all of it here as soon as we can.
You'll save an additional 50% month too. Again,
playing a little bit hurt today.
Pound 250.
Hang on.
Prompted, just say the
We're in commercial right now. Music will be coming out soon.
Wireless by Americans for Americans.
Oh, I begin a Tuesday edition of the Bruce Hooley Show under enormous pressure today. Jeff is out. The boss is running the board, so to be closely monitoring everything I say. Anything I say that is remotely controversial or is accused of being racist or divisive, I don't fit right in with my normal program, but it might cause some consternation. Glad to have you guys along on a Tuesday. We got a lot going on. There are days I go, I don't know if I have enough to fill time today and be interesting, because I am in the interesting business. But today, not that problem. Not a problem at all, because as you heard at the top of the hour on the Salem News Update, things are blowing up in the Middle East. And I really don't blame Israel at all. I have wondered since the beginning, since October the 7th. I understand why Israel exercises such patience, because they have such an attachment to their hostages. Understandably, we would too. Even their hostages' remains, which my perspective on that is, death is the end. And I'm not saying that if one of my family members died, I wouldn't want their remains to dispose of in whatever fashion we deemed as a family to be appropriate. But it always has seemed strange to me, and a measure of Israel's difficulty in dealing with these crazed, deranged terrorists, that the crazed, deranged terrorists kill hostages, keep their dead bodies, and then use the dead bodies to secure the release of people who are in prison in Israel, who are terrorists, and they're in prison because they've tried to kill Jews before. So you trade a person who has dedicated their life to killing Jews, you trade that in exchange for the body of a Jew already killed by a Palestinian. I'm not going to change the minds of Israeli citizens, but I've said from the very beginning, and I know this bothers some of you, that the only solution to this long term, which is what you would think you want, the only solution to this is to obliterate every terrorist. And I don't mean just the ones who are carrying guns and screaming and yelling. I mean everyone is a terrorist who harbors a hostage in their home or apartment. And you are not going to eradicate this anti-Semitic, genocidal mindset from people who live literally right beside you in Israel, in Gaza. You're not going to eliminate it until you do just that, eliminate it. So I know every human life is precious and none is beyond being redeemed, but these people have told you who they are. They committed unspeakable acts on October the 7th. They would gladly, exuberantly do it again if given the opportunity. And so Israel today, for whatever reason, because talks have stalled, because the Palestinians have not returned hostages or returned remains of hostages, reordered bombing raids. And I don't, A, believe, anything that the Gaza Ministry of Health tells me about deaths in Gaza. I don't believe a word of it. I don't believe a word I read in the Associated Press reports. And I cannot muster sympathy or empathy for people who would perpetrate this ongoing, generational, going back to BC, okay, against the Jewish people. This is not a October 7th, 2024 matter. This is not a 1948 matter. This is a since the beginning of time matter. This is the story of the persecution of the Jewish people that goes back to the first days of Abraham. And so what I absolutely positively know is that if you are not on the side of Israel, if you are not on the side of the Jews, you are on the wrong side. You are absolutely, positively on the wrong side. And so the reports are today that the airstrikes in Gaza killed 404 Palestinians. And of course, the AP's got to get it in here, including women and children. Oh, feel sorry for the people who burn babies in ovens. The surprise bombardment shattered a ceasefire in place since January. See, Israel's evil. The Associated Press wants you to know Israel is evil because they shattered a ceasefire. Was there a ceasefire in place on October the 7th? Yes, there was. Yes, there was. Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered the strikes. Evil, Bibi Netanyahu. After Hamas refused Israeli demands to change the ceasefire agreement. Officials said the operation was open-ended and was expected to expand. Good. The White House said it had been consulted and voiced support for Israel's actions. If somebody had shown me this story on the 1st of November, 2024, I would have relaxed because I was highly stressed on November the 1st in 2024 about what would happen on November the 5th in 2024. But if I saw this sentence 4 months into the future, the White House had been consulted and voiced support for Israel's actions, I would have said, Trump won. Thankfully. The Israeli military. Oh, wait, hold on, AP. You might report something that puts Israel in a good light. The Israeli military ordered people to evacuate eastern Gaza. What? Were there any, Nova Music Festival, kids dancing, celebrating, singing? Was there any advance notice from Hamas on October the 7th? You might not want to come to that Nova Music Festival. Might end bad for you. No, there was not. They don't provide advance notice. They don't drop flyers. Get out. We're coming in. We're going to bomb you. Wow. Who at AP was able to sneak that in there? Might make Israel look human. Might make Israel look compassionate. So this is, to me, here's a quote from Netanyahu. Israel will from now on act against Hamas with increasing military strength. Again, I say good. Here we go. Now, whoever got that fact in there about Israel warning Gaza, he's been fired. Now we're back to normal AP reporting. The attack during the Muslim holy month of Ramadan could resume a war that has already killed tens of thousands of Palestinians and caused widespread destruction across Gaza. Yeah, October 7th, that's a Jewish holiday. They attacked the Jews on a Jewish holiday. So spare me your tears about the attack coming in the Muslim holy month of Ramadan, which it's not a real religion. It's not an authentic religion. It is a demonic. Oftentimes, in the most extreme measures, if you take the Quran literally, it is a demonic movement. It's not a religion, although it has religious fervor. There were no reports of any attacks by Hamas several hours after the bombardment, indicating it still hoped to restore the truce. Here's something else it might indicate. It might indicate that Hamas is toothless and unable to defend itself anymore, which, again, I would say, good. And of course, there are, I understand this. I'm not going to visit the same anger on the families of the hostages. They have suffered in untold ways. I understand why they would accuse the Israeli government of backing out of the ceasefire, saying it chose to give up on the hostages. It is very difficult to take the hope away, however slim the hope is that you're going to get your hostages back, that you're going to get your loved ones back. I will not have anything critical to say of families of hostage members in Israel who have suffered in untold fashion for 500 days, hoping that today's the day that their hostages come home. Some have, and that's wonderful, but many still remain in tunnels. They are tortured. They're not mistreated. They're tortured. And so I don't blame them for being upset about this. They are the only people. They are the only people in the world who have license to oppose Israel going in, because they have a personal, deeper stake in this than any of us can possibly have. But the reality of the situation is much like the reality of the situation in Ukraine and the Russian war, where Marco Rubio said the other day, this is not a war that's going to end militarily. There's not one side that's going to push the other side out. Similarly, the only way Israel ever gets peace is to not allow any radical Hamas member or anyone who shares that ideology to live next door to them in Gaza.
Partly sunny, breezy, warmer afternoon tonight. Today at 70. Tonight, partly cloudy, mild, and a low 51. For tomorrow, clouds and sun, windy, warm day, high 70. Clouds, windy, and cooler. Couple of showers. We could see that mixed in with some snow late in the day. High Thursday afternoon at 47. Friday, partly sunny with a high 53. Morning rain Saturday, otherwise clouds and breezy. High Saturday afternoon 53. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM, The Answer.
Hi, Mike Gallagher here, hoping you'll join me on the Patriots Alaska cruise this summer, a once-in-a-lifetime trip where patriotism and luxury meet. Picture this, you cruising through Alaska's stunning wilderness on a first-class luxury ship surrounded by breathtaking glaciers and majestic mountains. Joining us will be Larry Elder, Jennifer Horn, Joe Piscopo, but that's just the beginning. We sail August 16th through the 23rd through the last frontier. On board, you'll enjoy thought-provoking talks, exclusive events, and unforgettable memories with fellow patriots who share your conservative values. Text the keyword travel to 94878 to reserve your stateroom today. Text travel to 94878. This is more than just a cruise. It's a chance to engage with some of the most respected voices in conservative America. I'll take a little credit for that. I hope I'm in that category, and explore one of the most beautiful places on planet Earth. Space is limited. Text travel to 94878. That's travel to 94878. I'll see you on board, where patriotism, adventure, and luxury all come together.
So this year, I ordered my prom dress from Shady Deals, and when it came, it said some assembly required.
I ordered these batteries from a digital camera, but the batteries weren't included, so I had to draw all of our family memories. I ordered a 60-inch TV from Shady Deals. What they actually meant is, you can't sit further than 60 inches away.
Kia savvy consumers, research businesses, report false advertising, and settle transaction claims with the BBB.
Test your advertising IQ. Go to bbbadtruth.org. I'm CPA Brad Henneberg with Premier Tax CPAs. And the true value of using a CPA is getting guidance throughout the year, not just at tax time. During the year, we can actively advise you on your financial and tax planning and other major business decisions, just like an outside CFO. Too often, when you see your accountant only at tax time, we're really only keeping score of what you did last year. We'll prepare a comprehensive tax plan to maximize your deductions and minimize the tax you pay, and present you with money-saving options you may not have ever considered. We'll update your financial position each quarter, so there are no nasty surprises at tax time. At Premier Tax CPAs, we like to have consultations with our clients throughout the year, because important financial information is only useful if it's timely. At Premier Tax CPAs, we're a firm that can work with you and your business throughout the year to help you make decisions before it's too late. Give us a call at Premier Tax CPAs at 614-524-4888. That's 614-524-4888.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6745. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at tra.com or call 800-575-6745. That's 800-575-6745. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Well, do you have your tickets yet? Because if you don't, your opportunity to get them to the Friday, April 25th event at the Dare Dutchman restaurant in Plain City, A Night with Larry Elder, well, your opportunity is evaporating quickly. Tickets are more than half gone, well more than half gone. I don't want you to get shut out. If you're interested in coming, and I hope you are, love to spend the evening with you, love to share a meal with you. Dare Dutchman food is fantastic. If you've never had it before, you'll certainly find out that it's well worth what you're spending, and I'm confident that the conversation that night will be engaging and riveting and probably pretty funny too. I think Larry Elder's a funny guy, and I'm looking forward to spending a couple hours, maybe hour and a half on stage with him, with Jack Windsor, host of the Windsor Report. A Night with Larry Elder. April the 25th, Dare Dutchman Restaurant. Where do I get my tickets? You've told me how I got to get my tickets. Where do I get my tickets? You got to get them at 989theanswer.com. I'll apologize in advance for what I think is the oppressive service charge, but we'll try to make it worth your while. April the 25th, Dare Dutchman Restaurant. Get your tickets, 989theanswer.com. I will not be here tomorrow. I will not be here Thursday. And, I always look forward to what I'm going to be doing on those days, which is going and getting my daughter at school, bringing her back here for a medical appointment and taking her back to school. But I got to admit, it's rotten timing. Not that I won't love the 6 or 7 hours I get in the car with my daughter. I will. I wouldn't trade it. I'm just saying there are days I wouldn't mind not being here. Tomorrow is not one of them, because today, do you know what's going to happen today? Today, well, I can tell you, but I'm going to let our president tell you what is going to happen later today.
But while we're here, I thought it would be appropriate. We are tomorrow announcing and giving all of the Kennedy files. So people have been waiting for decades for this.
Now, he said that yesterday, and I assume he means by the Kennedy files. I don't know if he means RFK and JFK assassination files, or if he just means JFK assassination files. Trump has placed, so that's why I'm sad about not being able to be here tomorrow, because I'll admit, this came up in a text conversation I had with my friend Tony out of state yesterday. And he called attention to this next audio cut I'm going to play for you from Anna Paulina Luna. This is from February 11th. How did I miss this? I'm a Kennedy assassination geek. If I'm flipping around on Amazon and there's a new Kennedy documentary, I'm on it, man. It's like you all have those movies that come on late at night and you're just hoping as you're channel surfing. It's like, not ready to go to bed yet. I'm going to be ready in about a half an hour to go to bed. And then there's that movie that you go, oh, man, Shawshank Redemption is on. Oh, man, A Few Good Men is on. Like, what are your movies like that, right? You got to watch the whole thing. This is the way I am with a Kennedy documentary. I've seen them all. I've read books. I've gone to state fairs and browse the old magazine file. I got Look magazine. I know you go, man, you're old. Look magazine, Life magazine, Kennedy. I got all kinds of JFK stuff. I'm just fascinated by JFK. Back when, a Democrat could say, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Man, you think Chuck Schumer's in trouble now? for greenlighting the CR. Can you imagine if any Democrat stood up and said, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. Whoa, out of the party. I submit as evidence, Your Honor, the fact that RFK Jr. is no longer a Democrat. But at any rate, here's the clip my friend Tony called my attention to. Anna Paulina Luna, I know she's a bit of a lunatic, but she's all Trump, okay? And Trump has placed her, I think, in charge of the assassination file release. I don't know if that means she's in charge of what gets redacted and what doesn't. But here's Anna Paulina Luna in a clip that I somehow missed. My apologies, because I should have brought this to the table when Twitter says she said it on February the 11th.
What's your priority list? Because Epstein, 9/11.
Our first investigation will be announced, but it's going to be covering on a thorough investigation into the John F. Kennedy assassination. And I can tell you, based on what I've been seeing so far, the initial hearing that was actually held here in Congress was actually faulty in the single bullet theory. I believe that there were two shooters, and we should be finding more information as we are able to gain access into the SCIF, hopefully before the files are actually released to the public.
Okay. If you are a Kennedy assassination geek like I am, you know that the magic bullet theory does not appear to make any sense. So will we find out that there was a second shooter? Will we find out that Lee Harvey Oswald, this is, a lot of people say, impossible to fire 3 shots from I'm going to prove I'm a geek for the JFK assassination, 3 shots from a Mannlicher Carcano rifle? Do you know the name of the rifle? I know the name of the rifle. I'm a geek, okay? I've been to the Texas School Book Depository twice. I went to Dallas on business years ago, stayed in a Hyatt hotel overlooking the Triple Underpass. You walk out there, I guarantee you today, if you could snap your fingers, Star Trek-like, and appear on the streets of Dallas, there's an X on the highway, there's an X on the street where JFK was shot. An X on the street, still there, okay? Historic landmark, National Historic Landmark. There will be people roaming around with literature. If you've been there, you know this. The Texas School Book Depository has been preserved. It is as it was, relatively speaking, that day. There's a shooter's nest on the 6th floor depository. You can go up and look at it. There are people walking around trying to make money off the assassination. Here's what's really happened, blah, 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 blah. Okay? You'll hear the news reports from the day. They give you a little headset. You walk around. Will we find out? Here's one of the Amazon documentaries that JFK was inadvertently shot by an FBI agent who heard the first shot, went to jump on the back of the limousine and had his hands on a rifle or something and inadvertently shot JFK. That's a theory. It's a theory there's a shooter on the grassy knoll. There's a theory there's a shooter on the highway overpass. There's as many theories as, there are people who write about this. But I am fascinated about it. And did the CIA participate? Did J. Edgar Hoover participate? We know he hated the Kennedys. Was the mafia involved? JFK, RFK, womanizers, Sam Giancana's names come up. He was a Chicago mob boss. I told you I was a geek. Now, so I'm looking forward to this. And here's what I'm really hoping. I don't necessarily have to have total clarity on this, but we were told the Epstein files were going to be released, and everybody got really excited. Oh, we're going to get the list. And they called influencers to Washington. Here we go, the Epstein files. Nothing in it that hadn't already been released. So that was a big nothing burger. I'm hungry for something I don't know, something significant that I don't know. Just don't feed me a nothing burger. That's what I'm asking for the release of the JFK files today. And then we're supposed to get RFK and we're supposed to get Martin Luther King. Long run, would you bet that the J. Edgar Hoover's name stays on the FBI building or not?
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason. Israel says there is no deadline for wrapping up its renewed aerial assault on Hamas and the Gaza Strip. Israel resumed bombing runs overnight. A federal judge ordering the Trump administration to explain why it ignored his order to halt the deportation of a group of suspected Venezuelan gang members. It was supposed to be a quick visit to the International Space Station, but problems with Boeing's new crew capsule prevented 2 astronauts from coming home. Well, now, after 9 months on the space station, they are on their way back to Earth, returning today aboard a SpaceX capsule. President Trump will talk with Russia's Vladimir Putin by phone today. They'll talk about ways to halt the fighting in Ukraine. Stocks are sharply lower on Wall Street. The Dow is down 343 points. The Nasdaq off 320. More details at srnnews.com.
Financing a home, especially in today's market, is one of the biggest decisions you'll make for your family. Work with a mortgage company that puts you first. I do. Work with a lender founded on biblical principles like do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I do. It's Mike Gallagher for the only mortgage company I've used for almost a decade now when financing or refinancing Fellowship Home Loans. I'm friends with the owners, Mike and Brian. I even have them on my show occasionally. I know the care their team puts into every single customer. I can personally tell you that it's a smooth, stress-free process, and that's due to Fellowship's level of service and expertise that puts you in the right loan for your family and your goals. There's a reason Fellowship Home Loans is flooded with 5-star reviews. Whether purchasing a home or a cash-out refi to consolidate some higher interest debt, you can trust Fellowship Home Loans. Start the process. Make the call. 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, equal housing lender, and MLS number.
Hi, Bruce Hooley, and I hope you'll join me every day, 11 to 1, for the Bruce Hooley Show. A lot of consequential issues that we have to talk about. It's a transformational time in our country, and you want to understand all the issues. That's what I hopefully help you do. Bruce Hooley Show, 11 to 1, Monday through Friday on 9890answer.com.
Carl Jackson stands up for the America he loves on the Carl Jackson podcast.
Donald Trump has the authority as the head of the executive branch to fire and to stop payments within the executive branch. Appropriating funds is one thing. Finding corruption and theft is another. We wanted Trump to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse. Did we know that it was going to be this bad?
No. Subscribe to the Carl Jackson podcast today on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
This March and April, Temperature Pro is turning up the heat on kindness. For every box of diapers our team picks up during the service call, we'll make a contribution to Bottoms Up Diaper Bank, helping families in need right here in Central Ohio. When we come to service your HVAC, you can help too. Just have a pack of diapers ready for us, any size, any brand, and together we'll make a difference, one diaper at a time. Need a repair, tune-up, or new system? Call Temperature Pro, proud supporter of Bottoms Up Diaper Bank.
You can hear this today at treasuretopia.com.
It's a pleasure to talk to you, Lawrence Reed. Welcome to my show.
There's so many people out there who misread biblical passages and come to erroneous conclusions that Jesus was somehow supportive of central planning of the economy or forcible redistribution of wealth, and none of that's the case. None of that's true.
Here's the entire episode. It's for Treasuretopia members only. Go to treasuretopia.com.
News, opinion. Here, the answers mobile app and 98.com. Also on your smart speakers, TuneIn, or iHeart.
Nobody that I know is against saving money. Well, hold on. I better retract that. Democrats are against saving money. If it's government spending, they're definitely against that. But you'd like to save money, and particularly on tuition. Ooh, it can be out of sight. But if you go to the Discount Shopping Club at 9890answer.com, we have some great deals to great schools. Your child will not go to Ohio Christian University or Valor Christian College and come back someone you do not recognize physically or in terms of their values. These are two great schools, and you can save $2,500 on tuition if your child is interested in enrolling at either OCU or at Valor Christian College, both right here in Central Ohio, Circleville, and Valor is affiliated with World Harvest Church. You spend $2,500 in the Discount Shopping Club, and you get back a voucher tuition certificate for $5,000. That's a $2,500 savings. Part of many of the savings you can get in the Discount Shopping Club by clicking shopping at 9890answer.com. So I was watching the news last night, and I saw a guy who I've never seen before. He is a Democratic congressman from New York. His name is Tom Suozzi. I think he barely won his race, but he was on talking about, Democrats plummeting in the polls, people not approving of Democrats not having a messenger, and most Democrats want their side of the aisle to fight Trump harder. They don't want them to stand for anything. They just want them to resist, just fight. They don't have to come up with any better ideas to appease the increasingly sizable lunatic fringe of their party. So here's what Tom Suozzi said about Chuck Schumer bending on the bill that was approved over the weekend to keep the government open. Suozzi says he would not have voted for it, but he understands that Chuck Schumer was in a no-win situation. I want you to listen closely to what Suozzi says needs to happen and what it is incumbent upon, not Democrats, but incumbent upon Republicans to do.
I voted that we should not support the CR only because I'm promoting bipartisanship. I want us to work together, and the administration and the Republicans have not reached out to the Democrats whatsoever.
He's promoting bipartisanship, and the Republicans have not reached out to the Democrats whatsoever. Unlike, of course, Democrats who made a habit of reaching across the aisle when they had control of the House and Senate and presidency under Barack Obama and crammed Obamacare down our throats without a single Republican vote. Not like that at all. Continue, Tom.
It's all been my way or the highway, and I think it sent a bad message to say you don't have to negotiate with us. Now, he was between a rock and a hard place. No matter what he did, whether we did the CR extension or we shut down the government, we're going to continue to see a lot of these crazy cuts. We have to get the Republicans to negotiate with us to actually try to move our country forward.
A lot of these crazy cuts. Like we've got to fund transgender comic books and other stupid nonsense that Democrats believe in. That's what we have to do. That's very important. That's bipartisanship. It's not wokeism. It's not embracing the wrong side of an 80-20 or 90-10 issue. Tom Suozzi has the solution. Listen to more.
I think that we have to get out there and identify what do the Democrats stand for. Let's rebuild the middle class in our country. Let's be in favor of public safety. Let's secure the border. Let's treat people like human beings.
Let's rebuild the middle class. Who tore that down? That's right. That'd be the Democrats. Let's rebuild public safety. I'm sorry. Who's backing all the woke prosecutors? How many judges in Franklin County again are Democrat and how many are Republican in Franklin County Common Pleas Court? Is there one Republican left? Because they've all switched their political affiliation. I lost track of what was the third thing. Tom, refresh my memory.
Let's rebuild the middle class
in
our country.
Okay.
Let's be in favor of public safety. Let's secure the border.
That's right. Let's secure the border. How did that work out the last 4 years? Securing the border. Clips like that, I'm always intrigued. Like, do you think anybody believes that they have any interest in that? I don't know whether to be incredulous or outraged. Now, back here at home, I'm not surprised, but I'm amused. Somewhere between amused and outraged. I'm outraged. Sounds like I said I'm outraged. No, I'm amused and outraged. Because of a story today where the people who oppose the end of DEI, the end of school choice, are making noise. A story on the NBC4i website. Should Ohio schools at all levels have any components of diversity, equity, and inclusion? That is a question that is being debated at the Ohio State House right now. Well, I don't know. That depends on what you consider debate. I consider debate an issue that is up for grabs, worth debating. With supermajorities in both the House and Senate, on the Republican side, with a Republican President Donald Trump, who is trying to end DEI, having signed an executive order that bans it, is debating DEI really something that's getting much airtime at the Ohio State House? Well, I'm sure it is with, in the mind of Allison Russo, the House Minority Leader. She says that the end of DEI is, quote, a distraction from the work and the real issues we are facing in higher education and that we are facing in K through 12. No. Sorry, Allie, not true. We've had lots of bad test scores over the years because we've stopped teaching authentic American history, because we've painted everything through a lens of oppressor-oppression, oppressor-oppressed, victimhood. Here for some common sense on the topic, Matt Huffman, House Speaker, Republican from Lima. He says, I think generally speaking, that dam is broken on that issue. People realize that often that subject matter was really used as a political cudgel to beat down your opponents or to intimidate people. Correct. That is why Senate Bill 1 is poised to pass the House this week, which will require both sides of an issue to be presented in classrooms around the state. And Democrats hate this, and professors hate it, and some students hate it. I blame the students less because they've been programmed. Here's another Democratic wokester, Nikki Antonio of Lakewood, which is a suburb of Cleveland and is decidedly left of left. Nikki D'Antonio says, if it's people of color, women, people from the LGBTQ community, veterans, people with different abilities, who's left that's supposed to be getting everything? Who's left? I don't know, like normal, regular citizens of the state of Ohio who love their country and just want meritocracy to reign. Quite a few of those. You know how I know that? Because Trump's majority in the state of Ohio has grown each of the 3 times he has run for president. Senate Bill 1 and it's House Bill 1, rather, and Senate Bill 1, Senate Bill 133, let me start over. Senate Bill 113 and its identical House Bill 155 would eliminate DEI in K through 12 public schools because Senate Bill 1 is in colleges. Antonio, the Democrat from left of left Lakewood, says this is a witch hunt like it was at the upper levels. We're still fighting some kind of weird hate culture war. Now using words like diversity, which is part of the foundational beliefs of our society, to be inclusive, that should include everybody. It doesn't though, Nikki. Sorry. Inclusive has become exclusive of people who do not have some deviant approach to living their sex lives in a moral way, or to daring to express love for America and its foundational values like the best man wins. Or woman, don't care. Also, wokeism is abounding in the city of Whitehall, which is considering 2 resolutions to protect immigrants and transgender residents. Councilwoman Amy Harkar has proposed this to support immigrants' rights and make Whitehall a safe place for gender-affirming health care. The problem is, Amy Harkar, these 2 things are against federal law. And however much you have an inflated opinion of your ability as a member of Whitehall City Council, you do not have the authority to usurp federal law. So she's going to try. Thankfully, there must be some sensible people on Whitehall's City Council, because she wanted to form a subcommittee, but she was told, no, we're not going to give you more than 1 additional council member because that would make it an official act, and we're not going to waste our time on such issues. They also want to ban conversion therapy, which is a totally backward term, where gender-affirming care, telling somebody they're not who they were born to be, is considered confirming.
For tomorrow, clouds and sun, windy, warm day, high 70. Clouds, windy, and cooler. Couple of showers. We could see that mixing with some snow late in the day.
What?
Thursday afternoon at 47. Rowdy, partly sunny with a high 53. Morning rain Saturday, otherwise clouds and breezy. High 70 afternoon 53. I'm Steve Williams on 98.9 FM. The Answer.
Financing a home, especially today's market, is one of the biggest decisions you'll make for your family. Work with a mortgage company that puts you first. I do. Work with a lender founded on biblical principles like do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. I do. It's Mike Gallagher for the only mortgage company I've used for almost a decade now when financing or refinancing Fellowship Home Loans. I'm friends with the owners, Mike and Brian. I even have them on my show occasionally. I know the care their team puts into every single customer. I can personally tell you that it's a smooth, stress-free process, and that's due to Fellowship's level of service and expertise that puts you in the right loan for your family and your goals. There's a reason Fellowship Home Loans is flooded with 5-star reviews. Whether purchasing a home or a cash-out refi to consolidate some higher interest debt, you can trust Fellowship Home Loans. Start the process. Make the call. 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-MIKE, 800-510-6453. Fellowship Home Loans, mortgage lending by the book.
Nationwide Mortgage Bankers, Equal Housing Lender, NMLS number 819382.
Do you owe $10,000 or more in credit card debt or personal loans? With credit card debt at all-time highs, Debt Relief Advocates is urgently notifying consumers of debt relief now being made available, designed to aid consumers with out-of-control credit card debt. Those who qualify and enroll for this relief program will only have to pay back a fraction of what they owe. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. This is a relief program that credit card companies would rather you not know about, as it ends your debt nightmare and saves you lots of money. Consumers owing at least $10,000 in credit card debt or personal loans can now take advantage of this debt relief as the cost of living skyrockets. Debt Relief Advocates has established a relief hotline for you to call to learn what debt reduction you may qualify for, so don't wait. For this free information, call the Relief Hotline at 800-390-0874, 800-390-0874, 800-390-0874.
You heard me talk about Relief Factor and how so many people enjoy a better, more pain-free life because of it. If you're dealing with everyday pain, it makes sense you'd want to try it first. Well, Relief Factor makes that pretty pain-free, too, with their 3-week quick start kit for only $19.95. An easy, affordable way to see how it could literally change your life, like it has mine. Relief Factor is a daily supplement that fights pain naturally. Developed by doctors, Relief Factor doesn't just mask pain temporarily, it helps reduce or eliminate pain. In fact, the longer you take it, the more effective it is. Trying it couldn't be easier with their 3-week quick start for only $19.95, less than $1 a day. And it just takes a phone call to 1-800-4-RELIEF. That's 1-800-4-RELIEF. 1-800-4-RELIEF. Wherever you're having pain, every day you feel better is a day you live better. Try Relief Factor's 3-week quick start. Visit relieffactor.com. That's relieffactor.com, or call 1-800-4-RELIEF, 800-4-RELIEF for Relief Factor.
New connected technology, and the Consumer Technology Association wants to help you protect the security of your devices. First, don't use default or easy-to-guess passwords. Create unique ones and keep them safe. Next, look for and install security updates from device manufacturers. Also, have an active firewall for your home router, and consider using a professional installer to set up your new devices. These tips from the Consumer Technology Association to help keep your devices secure.
So we had a nice conversation on the phone last night with a gentleman who expressed his interest in Ameriswitch products. And I challenge you, like, look, we are called to live our faith. And I would humbly suggest that a part of that is not allowing your money to be used by political causes that don't support your values. Now, you can sort of hide and say, well, I didn't know when I was buying, Procter & Gamble toothpaste or Unilever products that my money was going to be used to abort children or to fund woke protests on college campuses. But now you can't say that because I just told you that's what big corporations give money to. So if you would like to buy from an American company, non-toxic products that are good for you, and more importantly, good these products are not advertised in our Switch show, and then my wife or I will reach out to you and tell you more about it. So I'm a supporter of good public schools, for which we have many, most of them in rural areas in the state of Ohio. And I'm also a supporter of school choice. I do not think those are incompatible views. I believe that competition makes everybody better, not just in education, but in all things. I don't shrink from a challenge. I believe strongly the things that I believe, and I'm perfectly willing to have a conversation and to articulate my views and to give you the logic behind them. That's what this program is based upon. It is based upon facts, truth, and I believe that those things lead in a certain direction. Likewise, I believe that if you make available to all Ohio residents the opportunity to send their child to any school they want, our education in the state of Ohio will become better. I applaud the expansion of a bunch of Christian schools, a bunch of what are termed classic schools. I support all of that because I think that there's no one-size-fits-all solution to education in the state of Ohio. This, of course, is not the view shared by teachers' unions in the state of Ohio. And the reason why that view is not shared, I can't prove this, is because if private schools flourish, they will, by the very definition, take away enrollment from public schools. And eventually, not right yet, but eventually, the state of Ohio will get to the point where they will go, wait, we can't continue to fund public schools based upon the number of kids who are eligible to go to that public school. We need to give that public school its share of state funding based upon the number of kids who are actually enrolled in that public school. I will acknowledge to people who are critics of school choice that that is an eventuality. I just don't happen to oppose it. I serve in a district where our students are challenged, encouraged, monitored, and led effectively. There are many public school districts like that. Unfortunately, there are none that I know of that are located in large urban areas. So large urban areas are just that, large urban areas. So the bulk of the kids in those areas are not being well served because it's not that they're underfunded. I've gone through with you before many times. Columbus City Schools spends on average over $16,000 a year to educate students. They would gladly accept more money. They got $100 million in their last levy. They're not delivering for students. And so in that situation, parents should have the opportunity to send their kids to a private school. And I don't have a problem with the state helping them do that, but the teachers unions do. And that's why there's a story today on the NBC4i website that it was very misleading. State data shows nearly 90% of students enrolled in Ohio's school voucher program this year are not low income qualified. Now, I have some familiarity with this because I've followed this issue closely ever since I took over these airwaves about 5 years ago, when we had school choice vouchers made available only to low income, as if only people who are low income are the ones who are served by poorly performing schools. You can have a great public school and maybe a child has a learning disability or something that he or she would be better able to overcome if they attended a small private school where they could be paid greater individual attention by a teacher in a smaller class. I know of a personal example of that from someone in my church. Okay. And I know state has resources and they'll send specialists and all that kind of stuff, but it is not wrong If you're a taxpayer in the state of Ohio, I mean, let's say you make $300,000 a year, and you can say, well, they shouldn't get any help in sending their kid. This story is written disingenuously to throw a large percentage out there to say, oh, people who are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year are getting Ed Choice scholarships, and they have enough money to send their kid to a private school, so they shouldn't be getting $1. What the story does not tell you is that the amount of an Ed Choice scholarship in Ohio is regulated, and I would add reduced, by the amount of money you make as a couple. Now, it used to be you couldn't get an Ed Choice scholarship if, as a two-parent family with multiple children, you made more than $70,000 a year collectively. If you made a cent more than $70,000, you were ineligible. Now, you're not bringing home $70,000, of course, with the various state tax rates out there. But if you're trying to send a child or two to a private school that costs $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 or more, you have virtually no hope of being able to do that. If you want to do it for the child's best interests on an income of $70,000 or more. So, thankfully, our General Assembly expanded the eligibility requirements to 240% of the poverty level, and now you can get a full Ed Choice scholarship if you make a little bit more than that, but not enough where an expense of $500 or more is not a major catastrophe for your family. So the whole purpose of this story is to make Ed Choice and Ed Choice expansion look like it is stealing from public schools and a mammoth giveaway to rich individuals who don't need it. But nowhere in this story does it define low income. It just says it was meant to go to low income students. The third largest percentile of scholarship participants are among the top 8.4 wealthiest households in Ohio. Why don't you tell us how much they're getting? Because they're getting less than $500. You know how many private schools you can go to for $500? I don't, because there aren't any. Okay, so you got to dig into the details. You've got to ask questions. Thankfully, they did quote Donovan O'Neill, who's a straight shooter. You hear Donovan a lot. He's with Americans for Prosperity, great organization. He'll shoot you straight on this. I'd invite you to go to their website. He will present many, many aspects of why Ed Choice is good for the state of Ohio. But of course, no Democrat's going to tell you that. No teachers union is going to tell you that. And they're going to make the contention that not every county has a private school, and so this is unfair. 80 counties in Ohio have a private school. And it's not like, oh, you know, I live in Fairfield County. Maybe there is a private school there, but maybe more than one. But I live in Fairfield County. I can't send my kid to a private school in Pickaway County. Why not? Why not? Because here's a little treat for you. If the home school district deems it impractical to transport your kid to that district, they'll reimburse you for your mileage cost. So investigate your educational possibilities for your kids. You owe it to yourself and them.
The U.S. and the world have certainly changed a lot in the last few years. We're facing money dangers that we haven't seen in a long time, maybe ever. Inflation continues to be a problem. Interest rate increases have made purchases like cars and homes seemingly impossible for some, and retirement looks like a scary proposition. For many, it appears to be a dire situation and has left them paralyzed and fearful. You are not helpless, and there are ways to gain back control. At Aptus, we help our clients navigate the labyrinth of retirement planning and educate them on how to make appropriate choices for their individual situation. Whether you have never met with a fiduciary investment advisor before, or you just want a second opinion, we're here to help. Call our office today at 614-917-1040 and learn how a cost-free complimentary meeting may be the key to putting your money to work and your mind at ease. And don't forget to listen to the Aptus Blueprint Radio Show Friday evenings at 6, Saturday afternoons at noon, or call our office today at 614-917-1040.
Find us at 989ths.com. Download our apps. Stream us 24/7. WTOH and WTOH HD1, Upper Arlington, Columbus.
Breaking
news this hour from townhall.com. I'm John Scott. Israel has unleashed massive new strikes on Gaza after Islamic radicals in Hamas refused to release more hostages, causing the fragile ceasefire to collapse. In an interview with Tom Tradup of SRA News, Joel Rosenberg, founder of the website All Israel News, says Hamas failing to release more hostages is sad but predictable.
This is demonic, actually. I think many of these Hamas operatives are demon-possessed, Tom. We are facing a genocidal army, and what this has done, if there's any silver lining in it, I mean, the country's grieving, but as we focus on All Israel News and the anger level has unified, even Netanyahu, some of his worst critics are saying, Netanyahu, go in and vanquish Hamas once for all.
The White House says President Trump was advised of Israel's plans in advance and approved the Netanyahu government taking whatever action it deems necessary. Also at townhall.com, Ukraine's president and European leaders are paying close attention to a phone conversation between President Trump and Russia's Vladimir Putin about terms to end the war in Ukraine.
In his nightly address, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said an unconditional ceasefire has been on the table for a week, and it's clear it's Putin who continues to drag out this war. Putin продовжує і затягує цю війну. European Union Foreign Policy Chief Kaya Kallas says,
now we need to really see that the ball is in Russia's court
that'll do it for today's show. I am only allowed to do the first hour on the live stream. I hope you guys will catch the second hour at the Bruce Hooley Show Facebook page or the 9890 Answer Facebook page. I enjoyed your time. Appreciate you watching. So have a great day.